Well, composting is an easy and economic way to save the land and the soil and the water as well. Joining us this morning to talk about some going green, and these are long titles, is Gail Prunty, an educational specialist for Geauga Soil and Water Conservation District, along with Lynn Vogel, a stormwater educator for the Portage Soil and Water Conservation District. Ladies, thank you so much for coming on the show. Now, we've been talking about composting all morning long. What exactly is it?
Well, compost is decomposed organic matter, and it's made up of different materials such as leaves. It could consist of grass clippings, yard waste, different food scraps from our kitchen, and composting is an easy and economic way to turn this organic matter, to convert this waste into rich, healthy soil.
Really?
Yep.
So why compost? Let's talk about some of the benefits of compost, because we all have that.
Right. Well, like Gail said, composting does help put nutrients back into the soil, and the way it does that is, as this organic matter decomposes, it provides food for soil organisms, bacteria, earthworms, and so forth. As those organisms complete their life cycle, they release those nutrients back to the soil, and then those nutrients are then available for plants. And it promotes, what's the term, biodiversity? Can you explain what that is? Right. Well, you can see here, this is some compost, and you can see some little worms in here. And like we said, you know, there's billions of soil organisms, bacteria, fungi, viruses, and you know, arthropods and insects. There's all sorts of things and earthworms that live in compost and in the soils.
And how does this reduce landfill waste?
Well, it's estimated that at least a quarter of our trash that we throw away, things that we throw away every day, could have been composted. So instead, we're adding to a giant volume to our landfills when we could be recycling that into healthy soil.
All right, I dump a bunch of my leaves and grass over the fence. What should I do with it? Should I just put it in a big bag and give it to a conservation group?
Well, what you can do is you can have a compost pile in your own yard if you're interested in doing that. There are commercial bins available, big plastic things that they sell at all kinds of garden stores. This is the compost tumbler that's available through Geauga Soil and Water Conservation District from the PMB group. Different things like this that tumble and aerate the compost. You could also...
You've got some demonstrations, so why don't we...
Well, one of the things you could do, too, while we're still on ways to compost, this is worm composting. It's called vermiculture, and these special worms are tiny little red wigglers, they call them, and I know you're just so eager to hold one.
These two have been wanting me to play with worms all morning.
And so if you don't want to do any work and you don't want to get out there and tumble your compost, you can let the worms do the work for you, and you can set up a bin similar to this in your kitchen, in your basement, and put your kitchen food scraps in here, and they'll decompose it for you.
In your kitchen and basement. Put something like this in your...
Absolutely.
Don't you think some people would kind of frown on that?
See,
I don't know anybody like that.
Just keep it under your sink. You could have, when you collect your food scraps, you can have just a cheap economic...
Really?
You could find an excuse to buy a lot of ice cream, and then you'll have this recycled container. Just keep it under the sink, out of the way. Put your kitchen scraps in there. Put your worms out of the way, but close so that it's convenient.
All right, and you brought some green water. What demonstration
well, one
is this?
One of the
Can
things
you take that one? Thank you very much.
One of the things that compost does is it improves the...
No, I didn't wipe. It was the back of my hand. All right.
It does improve the water holding capacity of the soils, which is an important thing. And so in this cup over here, I only have sand, and this cup has sand and compost. And it'll take a few minutes, but you'll see that at some point this will drip more slowly. But when you mentioned that some people may, you know, not want to be involved in worm composting or composting in general, you know, you can buy compost commercially at any yard goods, any place you buy your mulch. A lot of municipalities collect leaves in the fall, and they convert it to compost that's then made available to the residents in the spring. So check with your
There's a lot going on here, a lot of composting. So there's actually the website where you can get all the information, ohiodnr.com/soil and water. Ladies, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you.
I told you I'd touch the worm. We'll be right back.
This segment of Live on Lakeside is sponsored by the Northeast Ohio Soil and Water Conservation Districts.